Imagine this. What if I told you there's a single sentence spoken 2,500 years ago that holds the secret to ending all of our suffering? It sounds almost like a secret code, right? Well, today, we're going to crack it. Together.
All right, so here it is. The Buddha lays out this path to end suffering, and it's all about how we handle our consciousness. He says don't let it get scattered outside, don't let it get stuck inside, and don't let it get shaken by clinging to things. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Super deep, but what does that actually mean in plain English?
So, yeah, this code from the Buddha, how in the world do we unpack this thing? That's the huge question we're going to dive into right now.
And you know what's really cool is the story behind this. The Buddha basically drops this incredible, life-changing piece of wisdom and then just gets up and leaves. Can you imagine? His followers were just left there, totally scratching their heads, probably feeling a lot like we are right now.
Okay, so that brings us to our first part, the Buddha's riddle.
So, feeling totally lost, the monks knew they needed some help. They went to the one guy they knew would have a shot at figuring this out, the wisest disciple, a man named Mahakaccana. They were basically hoping he could shine a light on this whole mystery.
All right, let's get into his explanation and see how he breaks this down. First up, what does it even mean for our consciousness to be scattered outward?
So Mahakaccana starts with this first piece of the puzzle. The Pali term is bahida vikittam visatam. And what it describes is a state where our awareness is just constantly being pulled outside of ourselves. It's scattered and spread thin by everything we see, hear, and feel through our senses.
And this is a perfect illustration of how it works. Think of it like our consciousness is flowing out through 6 different gates. Our eyes get hooked on things we see, our ears get pulled in by sounds. You get the idea. It even happens with our own mind, right? Just getting dragged away by one random thought after another. So really, the bottom line is this. It's that feeling of being completely captivated by the world outside. You know, like when you're mindlessly scrolling on your phone for an hour, or you just get totally lost in the noise and chaos of a busy street. That's it. That's your consciousness being scattered outward.
But here's the twist. The answer isn't just about shutting out the world. So let's look at the second part of this riddle. What about consciousness being established inside?
Okay, so this next term is ajatan santitam. This is describing when our consciousness gets stuck on pleasant internal feelings. You know, like that amazing peace or joy you might feel during meditation. Sounds pretty great, right? But here's the thing. It's a really subtle trap.
See, Mahakaccana points out that even as you get deeper into meditation, you can get trapped. You can get attached to the joy you find in the first stage, then the bliss in the second, the happiness in the third, and even that profound peacefulness in the fourth. Each one can become a new sticking point.
And this is so important. The main takeaway here is that no matter how incredible that inner experience feels, the second you start clinging to it, it becomes just another kind of prison, another form of attachment. So, wait a minute. If we can't let our consciousness get scattered outside, and we can't let it get stuck on the inside, then what's left? Well, this brings us to the real secret, the unshaken mind. The answer, as Mahakaccana explains, is right here in this phrase, anupadaya na partaseya. It means being unshaken through non-clinging. And honestly, this is the heart of the whole teaching.
Now this is a fantastic way to see the difference. On one side, you have the agitated mind. It's totally identified with experience. It thinks, I am my body, I am my feelings. So when those things change, I feel threatened, and bam, suffering. But look at the other side, the peaceful mind. The perspective shifts to, I observe my experience. You're just watching the body, the feelings, the thoughts come and go without getting tangled up in them. And that's where the suffering stops.
Mahakaccana explains it just like this. He says an ordinary person thinks of their body or rupa as me or mine. So when the body changes, it gets sick or it ages, their consciousness gets dragged right along for the ride, and they get completely trapped in fear and suffering. But then you have the well-trained student. They do not see their body as their self. So when the body inevitably changes, their consciousness doesn't get pulled into the drama. They stay free from that fear, free from that suffering. And this doesn't just apply to the body, by the way. It's the same for our feelings, our thoughts, every single part of our experience.
Okay, so we've got all the pieces of the puzzle now. Let's put them all together and see the big picture, the complete path to the end of suffering.
So after getting this super clear explanation from Mahakaccana, the monks finally understood.
It all clicked. So they went back to the Buddha to tell him what they'd learned.
And the Buddhist response? It's the ultimate confirmation. He basically says, fantastic, Maha Kanchana is incredibly wise. If you'd asked me, I would have said the exact same thing. That is the real meaning. Remember it just like that.
So that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it? The path to ending suffering isn't about going outside or going inside. It's about not getting stuck anywhere. Not on the things you see and hear, and not on the pleasant feelings you have. It's about simply not identifying with anything that comes and goes.
And that leaves us with one final, very simple, but very profound question to ask ourselves. Right now, in this moment, where is your consciousness?